Hello, welcome to another episode of Test Chamber. I'm Jeff Cork, joined today by Ben Reeves.
Hi, Jeff Cork.
And we're looking at Outlast. How would you characterize this game?
At last, here we are. This is a survival horror. Survival in the most literal sense, because you spend most of the game just running from things.
Okay.
It's one of those kind of amnesia style, kind of haunted house style, where all you're doing is walking through these terrifying events, trying not to die. You can't really fight back.
Okay. So you're on the defensive the entire time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
You have, this is the intro, which we just started up. You can see that our press badge there. Our name is Miles Upshur. We got a tip off about this asylum here, which was closed back in the 70s and just reopened, but apparently there's some shady activity going on here, and Miles is curious to check it out.
At nighttime?
At night, which is the best time to check things out, right? So here's our notice. A lot of the game's story sort of takes place through found files. So
okay.
This is the tip-off we got. Like, hey, you should check out this asylum. And then here's our camera, which has a night vision mode. So we can zoom in on things, see things far away, but then also see in the dark, which comes in really handy later on in the game.
Now, I played this a little bit at Comic-Con, and it is scary.
Yeah, very scary.
Tell me about that.
Which is probably the host with the most here, Jeff Cork.
Exactly. I'm trying to facilitate conversation.
So I'm finally in control. This is a little room here. Where is everybody? Isn't that creepy? Nobody's here. So yeah, this is... I mean, I'm trying to think of the last game that was really this intense. I liked Dead Space a lot. I feel like Dead Space had a lot going for it in terms of horror. This is probably... I mean, I'll say it's scarier, and then somebody's going to tweet at me and say, like, oh, you big baby. But, I mean, it's intense at times. It relies on a lot of jump scares, which I kind of don't like. I kind of wish the atmosphere just kind of, like, hung on the atmosphere more. Kind of like, Silent Hill. I thought those games did a really awesome job with their atmosphere.
Right.
So here's the front door. We're going to try that. And, turns out it's locked, so we're going to have to find another way in. But yeah, like, the atmosphere in this is pretty good, but then they have a lot of just, like, creepy moments where you're walking down a hallway and then you turn and, oh, what's that? Like, something jumps out in front of you, or the sound in this game is great. Play the game with the sound turned up if you can, or with headphones.
And I think we'll run into this pretty quickly if I'm not mistaken, but unlike a lot of games where there's, like, fleeting glimpses of horrifying things, this one... there's just like straight up mauled corpses all over the freaking place pretty quickly.
Yeah. You'll kind of see that as we get in. So it's like, all right, this is an asylum. I mean, it looks kind of creepy, but during the day, I could see this being like a nice place to eat your lunch. I don't know.
Okay.
But obviously it's night. You don't know where I eat lunch, Jeff. So climb up. A little bit of like light platforming. I'm actually playing with a gamepad, which I found preferable just because there's not a lot of like fine motor skill mouse movement.
We should say for now this is a PC exclusive coming to PlayStation 4 soon though, after launch.
Yeah. So here we see night vision mode.
It's a really great effect too.
Yeah, and you know what? It's interesting because you need... It's interesting what they do here with the cameras. You only get notes... Like, you can have the camera out all the time if you want. So, and it adds kind of a creepy grain effect to it. And you need the camera out to record notes on kind of what Miles is thinking. Because it'll... Oh, gosh! Yeah, so you can see... hopefully one will pop up here and we can see what I'm talking about. You can hold the button and open or close the door quickly. His hands kind of like motion around corners, which I actually think is kind of handy. And a cool kind of effect, makes you feel more part of the experience. But anyway, what I was saying with the camera... Oh, let me say this about the batteries first. So you can see up at the top right.
Right.
You have 3 out of 10 batteries. Your battery drains so fast when you have night vision on. So you need to keep collecting those batteries. So
does it replenish itself over time?
No.
Okay.
I mean, only if you collect the batteries. So you need to keep finding those, which are like that and these documents are about the only thing you collect in the game.
These are things that you're going to have to like break into a menu and read rather than have like a BioShock style voiceover as you're walking through the environment.
Jeff Cork, who closed that door?
I did not do that.
Yeah, you're right. There's no like. There are a couple like NPCs that you run into in the game that talk to you, but yeah, a lot of the story is kind of told through finding those documents and then just reading them yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see, oh, already there's blood on the floor. Something terrible happened in this break room. We'll see how stealthy we are.
Now, is stealth your primary defense here then?
Yeah,
because you're not able to fight at all, right? Are you knocking obstacles like into the path of you and your enemies, or are you just trying to flee most of the time? What's an encounter typically like?
Yeah, that was kind of one of the things I knocked the game for.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wished it had given you a little bit more tools in terms of like how to track enemies and enemy movement. Because you can hear your footsteps and you make a lot of noise when you're walking around, and say there's an enemy right there.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just see you all the time, and it's hard to tell if there's an enemy like in that room, but you can't see them. It's not like Last of Us where you could like listen and like see outlines of enemies, or like Splinter Cell where you can see there's an enemy in the next room.
Okay.
But then that adds to the horror of it too, so kind of. Oh gosh! Jeff Cork, you didn't see that coming, did you?
I saw that at the Comic-Con demo.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you're not terrified at all.
Well, we're also, it's broad daylight when we're in the podcasting room.
Right.
I can see like that kind of thing is pretty effective though.
I'm tickling your feet, but so this is kind of creepy here.
It's the longest musical sting I've ever heard for a scare. Wow. Okay.
You got out. The variants. You can't fight them. You have to hide. Can unlock the main doors from security control.
So these guys were presumably in the armored vehicles by the fountain that we saw in the very beginning. That didn't help. So.
Oh yeah, yep. And maybe we should have outfitted ourselves with some weapons or something, because
all right.
The only thing I have is this camcorder, and that's not going to do me a whole lot of good. All right, let's get. Oh gosh, who's that? I don't like that at all.
So go back to it. Yeah, it's very bright.
You can see. I got one of those notes.
Mm-hmm.
Like stuff that he's sort of thinking, maybe journaling as he's going through this experience.
Mm-hmm.
Those only appear when you have the this camcorder open.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
he just doesn't naturally kind of observe things as a reporter. He has to.
Yeah, he has to actually be recording them or something.
Interesting.
Which I found interesting because it's a little bit more creepy to have this up. I just feel because of the grain effect.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of an interesting, like, well, I can take it down if I'm feeling creeped out, but then I don't get the notes. So it's kind of this like, should I have this up all
if you
the
don't
time or not?
If you don't have night vision on, there's no disadvantage to keeping it up all the time, is there?
No, yeah, just if you like find the effect annoying or you getting creeped out and you like it more like this. So we'll do this.
Little pig.
Whoa! I would say that moment got me pretty good. So I was like, oh
That's
man,
spooky.
he's like right there, and I feel like the game just. We're only what 10 minutes in, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's already kind of rolling, and
who are you then?
some story stuff. There's this creepy priest. We're gonna start wandering through some dark halls and see some inmates here in a minute. So pretty quickly it gets rolling.
Yeah, and this is
scary.
like difficult to talk about, without giving any spoilers away. You mentioned inmates. We're obviously in an asylum. Can you gloss over? What did you think of the story overall? Was it pretty satisfying, or?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was like super compelling. I mean, there's enough there to kind of be like, oh, I wonder what's going on here. And it gets maybe a little weird or sci-fi kind of the further in you get.
Okay.
So it wasn't like that wasn't the thing that kept pulling me through. What kept pulling me through the experience was I wanted to see kind of what the next environment was going to be,
where the exit
like
was,
the next scare, and they kind of keep teasing you with like, oh, I'm really close to the exit here, but I can't get out because what we need to do is go down this hall and open this. Oh gosh, let me see if I can run and catch him.
And these
Come
guys
back.
they can see, they can hear, they can do everything. They're not like, we'll pick on The Last of Us again, where you've got some enemies that are alerted to sound in particular. These guys are all the total package in terms of detecting you, so you just need to be completely...
Yeah, you need to be pretty quiet. I
Okay.
mean, if you get caught, you can run and go hide in, say, a locker
Okay.
or under a bed or something. So there's places... You're not totally, like, screwed if you get caught. There's options, but ideally you just want to hide from them to begin with. So there's some more notes. So we want to go down to the security room and unlock the front gates, but the door's locked. So it's like, all right, well, let's go find a key card.
All right. And do the guys follow kind of predictable routes? Do you get a sense for like, okay, this guy's kind of doing his old thing, sniffing around, he'll be back? Or is it more
Yeah, for the
fluid?
most part, I would say there's a few times where, again, you can't really track guys when they're out of the room. So if they're not, excuse me, within eyesight,
Yeah.
you don't know where they are. So that actually adds sort of a tension to it, where you're kind of like wandering down a hall, leaning around corners, kind of being like, okay, where are they? And then maybe run to the next room or whatever. But
Can you throw...
so I would say yes, they do follow paths, but it's not easy to know what those paths are all the time.
Okay.
And in terms of like distracting them and stuff, which I assume you're about to ask, no, there's
Exactly.
no like bricks laying on the ground that you can like throw. It pretty much is straightforward, kind of.
Sam Fisher style knock on the wall.
Yeah, I wish he had some of Sam Fisher's tricks actually. Be fun to like do the wall, jump up the wall. Mm-hmm. Don't reporters know how to do that? Aren't they trained?
They didn't do that when I went to school, but
You went to school for reporting?
yeah.
Did they teach you how to have a camcorder up and jot notes down when you saw things?
No, I focused on print. I didn't do like video journalism stuff, unfortunately.
So here we can see a bunch of dudes sort of watching a...
So this is
Blood
still
splatter.
an operating asylum for all we know.
Technically
Technically speaking, if
until
these guys are
presumably
wearing, yeah.
until a few hours ago, presumably. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know what happened, and that's sort of the mystery of it. It's
Okay.
like, okay, what happened to this asylum? There was this Murkoff Corporation that's this kind of evil, dastardly corporation.
Are they privatizing insane asylums? Is that what's going on?
And that's what they're doing. Well, they're up to something.
uh-huh.
No good. And we want to find out what it is. So that's why we came here in the first place. But
Right.
now that we're in here and it's scary, we just really want to get out. But that proves to be harder than you would expect.
Cool. Well, I think this is a nice look at Outlast. Any parting thoughts?
Yeah, I think you want to go to the security room. There's kind of a cool moment up there. You want to...
Okay, excellent. We don't want to...
Yeah. Oh, gosh! Get off me! Oof. Okay.
Sense of urgency would be nice, Ben. There you
Yeah, I'll get out of here.
go. There you go. All right, well, thanks for watching.